today at Tighthead Brewing Company.
Ways I used to describe my IPAs was I was trying to achieve a hop candy like flavor. So like just enough sweetness to play with those fruity hop notes to kind of create like almost like a candy like experience.
Travis had said these are the same beer, but they're going to taste completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And they did, Billy. They tasted like two different beers. Why?
Black IPAs just never really caught on. So as much as I would like to maybe brew another one, we probably won't.
I like to call them porters.
Here we
I know. I'm a style guy,
this is
man.
the point of the show where the guests
Don't get me
start to
started
fight
on
each other.
session
This
IPAs.
is, Cody, this is what I live for. When the guests
fight
turn
you
on
guys.
each other.
My favorite part of this show is when we go to a brewery and I'm just like, holy shit, these beers are f***ing good.
Welcome to Crafty Brewers Tales Behind Craft Beer, the award-winning podcast that will increase your enjoyment of craft beer and your appreciation for the people who brew it. On this episode, we have come to Mundelein, Illinois to go from grain to glass with Bruce Dir. He is the owner and brewer here at Tighthead Brewing, and Billy Oakes, he is the brewmaster. We are at, as I said, Tighthead Brewing Company in Mundelein. I'm beer drinker and hellraiser Brian Noonan. All my opinions are strictly my own, for good reason. Behind the camera is our executive producer, Cody Goff. Cody, what are you excited about for this episode?
I'm excited for several reasons. I'll give you three. So a lot of breweries collab with other breweries, but how does a collab come about with a former professional football player? You'll find out. Is this brewery going to change the way you think about IPAs? Is it going to change the way I think about IPAs? I think it might. Stay tuned. And you're literally going to hear a traditional rugby song. So buckle up. First on the podcast.
All right, well, thank you, Cody. It's very exciting that you're excited. It always makes me happy. As I mentioned, we're at Tighthead Brewing Company. It's at 161 North Archer Avenue in Mundelein, Illinois. If you go to the Mundelein Metra station, it's right there. You can't miss it. So if you're a commuter or just want to come to Mundelein, why wouldn't you? Then Tighthead is the place to be. Tighthead Brewery opened in 2011. Bruce is, as I mentioned, the owner and brewer, but then Billy Oakes is also the brewmaster, the head brewer. So we're going to get into how you guys came to be a team and bring it up. But the first thing I've got to ask, and my 12-year-old mind has many, many answers to this question, but a mature man should probably tell us, what does Tighthead mean?
Jumped right into that one.
I got it.
No, it's not that bad. So I played rugby for 13 years.
Okay.
And I played tighthead prop.
What is that for the all I know about rugby is in college that was the house to party at.
It was. Yeah. Yeah. You sing hard, play hard, drink hard, all those good things. So so there's a scrum. It's a set play in rugby. In the front row, there's two props and a hooker. The hooker hooks the ball with his foot. It's like a face-off. And the guys next to him are propping them up, basically. So they're called props.
Okay.
So, and that's in the front row of the scrum. They come together. Their heads come together. So when the scrum comes together, there's a tight head prop, the way the heads go in, and a loose head prop. So the right-hand side of the scrum is always your tight head prop.
Okay. Is it like in football where the left tackle is more important because they protect the blind side of the quarterback? Is one of the props more important?
No, there's strategy within the front row, but it just depends on which side you're on. Right. If your head is, bound or you're out and you can break away quicker from the scrum. But so there's nothing really, we haven't really carried a theme through the brewery.
Okay.
Of rugby.
There's no rugby stuff in here.
Well, there's some
the
things,
logo.
But the logo is
the logo is the rugby.
Yeah, kind of a rugby ball with a hop flame. Yeah. Yeah, I think I probably slept through marketing classes. So I didn't really tie, the name of the business together, but I was just happy to open a brewery.
Well, that's good. And that was a much cleaner reason than I had thought. But then I was like, oh, this is very nice and wholesome. And then you said hooker, and I was like, I'm back in.
I know, exactly.
All right. So we are recording. This is very cool. We're recording this episode today on the 14th anniversary of Tighthead's first batch of beer.
Yeah.
So for both of you, What do you remember about that first batch? What was it for the first part? And what do you remember about how you felt when you got that first batch of beer done? Billy, you want to start?
Scarlet Fire was the first brew that we christened the system with. It was, I remember being just kind of a little scary, just a lot of unknowns, working on a brand new system.
Yep.
We actually ended up hitting a higher gravity than we were shooting for. But because we do 2 brews into the same fermenter, we were able to balance it out with the second one being a little lower gravity.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I remember it being messy.
Yeah. So yeah, when we had been building out the brewery for months,
Okay.
and getting ready for it. So we were there, and the Newlands Systems was the name of the company that built the system.
Okay.
And they came in and did training. They converted recipes that we'd been doing on homebrew level for us, for the system. So it was very much working with that, the designer, the guy who set it up, and teaching us. So there's training involved as well, learning that scale, because neither of us had brewed in a production system.
Oh.
I mean, I dabbled a little bit. I helped a guy while I was going to school and stuff at Siebel, but it was nothing like jump right in and start on a 15-barrel system.
Yeah, that's I could see why you would be a little nervous about all that. Well, how did you guys come to be? Because I do want to get into your individual backgrounds, but how do you two come together to say, okay, Bruce saying, Billy, come and help me launch this new brewery?
The local homebrew club in Lake County, Babel Homebrewers.
Okay. Shout out.
Bruce was a founding member. Which I'm not sure what year that was.
Long time ago.
Probably don't remember now, but I moved.
97.
I moved to the area in 2003. I started homebrewing in 2006, and like very quickly got in it serious. And so I found the local homebrew club to, meet up with other guys and kind of get advice on things. And so that's how we first met, and we were both regular members for several years.
Mm-hmm.
During that time, I attended the American Brewers Guild program to get my craft brewers apprenticeship program, certificate, brewer certificate. And then the local homebrew shop, Perfect Brewing Supply, hired me they were opening a new store in Libertyville soon.
Okay.
That was before we had opened in Libertyville. But so they kind of hired me to help them open the Libertyville store in 2007. And then I managed that store until 2011 when Bruce started up Tighthead. But so him and his wife Molly both like my beers. I love hoppy beers, and they both love IPAs, and so they always like my beers. And we both, I think, have similar lifestyles, I think, as well. And they knew I was serious about it, and wanted to eventually do professional brewing. And so, when he was ready to move forward with his plan, they asked me if I would come brew for them, and I was,
very cool.
Didn't take much thought to.
Now, Bruce, Billy mentioned your wife, Molly. I've been married a long time, and my wife has, over the years, given me very good ideas.
Yeah.
Your whole journey to beer started with Molly, right?
It was, yeah. She gave me a homebrew kit the year before we got married, so it's 32 years ago now.
Nice.
So started homebrewing. I was we had raspberries at our little, row house in the city when we lived there for a few years, and just making jams and being in the garden and canning tomatoes and stuff. So she's like, oh, homebrewing will go, fit perfectly. So that's kind of what started it all.
And then, you were in the corporate world, as a lot of guys we've talked to have been, and then some changes in the corporate world happened, and you decided to do this. But before you decided to open Tighthead, you were so into the Homebrewers Club and stuff, you went and you became a certified beer judge.
Yeah.
Now, two parts, I guess. So what are you looking for as a judge? And now that you're on the other side of the table as a brewer, what do you like about the judging process, and what do you hate about the judging process?
It's a good question. I was a beer geek. Loved beer history, beer culture, reading about it. So I judged about 12 years BJCP, which is a style guideline of judging. So homebrew competitions. Judging's very subjective. And I know that, and you look at a beer and you look at styles and they give you guidelines and it's really hard to pick them out in a lot of beers. But it's just subjective. One person's view of something. So
because I mean,
this side of it, I think to answer your second part of your question,
to answer as the brewer,
I hated it. I don't. I wouldn't look at even Beer Advocate, which I should see what people are saying about beers, but
but they're not beer judges. They're just probably
some probably are. You never know who's mentioning, but it's not that necessarily. It's we brew. I know what I like, and we that's one of the things through all of our beers. We brew what we like.
Okay,
it's just it's very subjective. Yeah, we send our beers in though. I believe in competitions.
Okay,
I judge them. I still do FOBAB. The Chicago Barrel Age.
Yeah.
I try to do that every year. So I enjoy judging, but any given day.
Is it easier to judge or be judged?
It's more fun to probably judge, but
I like you're saying it being subjective. Sometimes, you'll get your score sheets back from a competition and this, the same beer will be judged by 2 or 3 different judges and they'll have just conflicting notes that make you wonder if they're even tasting the same beer sometimes.
I don't get.
So it's a little frustrating sometimes, but we're always looking for good feedback in the notes, but sometimes it's like you wonder like what.
Well, because I mean, for me, it's like I like it or I don't like it. And there's a few little notes you could give if somebody were to ask, but to do that on a professional level where you're judging somebody's livelihood, it does seem almost too subjective to actually do it.
Well, yeah. But competitions are,
you've come out of the good
shouldn't
side
worry about your livelihood, but
right.
But ego maybe.
There you go. Ego is better, and you have come out on the right side of some of those judgings. You've won Great American Beer Fest. You've won medals. World Beer Cup. You've won medals and
medal.
A medal.
That's all right. I'll take it.
More to come. There's definitely
more
to come. So one of the beers Billy already mentioned, the first beer you guys brewed 14 years ago today, is the Irish Red. Mm-hmm. I always loved Killian's, the mass-produced Irish Red. I like Irish Reds when I go to breweries, but it doesn't get the hype that a lot of styles do.
Yeah.
But when they're done well, they're really, really good. So tell us about your Irish Red and why this style is kind of not the sexy date that you want to go on, or a lot of people don't want to go on.
I'm not sure why people don't like ambers. I always liked ambers, and I had brewed Scarlet Fire for years as a home brewer, under many different names, from a lot of different things over the years. But that's what I came with. And kind of when we came together and started the brewery, Billy had been brewing a beer he called Irie, which is also one of our flagships.
Right.
It is our flagship right now. So that's, so we both kind of came with recipes. And ambers tend to get real sweet. Mm-hmm. And because that caramel malt, if you use too much of the caramel. So using a little more roast barley.
Okay.
You're getting the amber colors, but you're getting more of that coffee from that roasted barley. So it's just a different profile.
Okay.
It's one of those beers that we submit to competitions when it all kind of comes together, which it isn't a traditional Irish Red.
What makes yours different?
Well, we use an American ale yeast, so traditionally I would think
that's
everything else is probably spot on. I mean, barley can change and roastiness, I would assume, but not using an English yeast.
Okay.
So we always like, well, we're going to submit as an Irish Red and see if what people like.
Yeah.
But there aren't very many with that profile, and it's easy drinking. It goes with any food, it's burger, pizza, barbecue. So it's a great pub beer.
They're
Brilliant.
and we're gonna talk about the pub aspect of Tighthead. But you mentioned, all right, you came with Irish Red. Billy came with Irie, which is a pale ale,
IPA.
an IPA.
Big idea.
So what were the challenges of going? And you mentioned you were nervous about the new production system. For each of you, you've perfected this beer on a small level at home. And what were the biggest challenges of scaling up to fit the new system, to know that one day there'd be people sitting in here ordering more than a couple of those, that you had to have them ready?
Well, luckily we had a very good consultant provided by Newlands, Jamie Fulton, who's been a very successful award-winning brewer himself, and then kind of left the brewing scene, or didn't leave the brewing scene, left his brewing job to be a consultant full-time. Anyway, he came and spent about a week here when we were firing up the system the first time, and he did a great job of like Bruce had mentioned, converting our homebrew recipes to the 15 barrel size. And within just a couple batches, we were able to get the numbers dialed in pretty good on the recipe formulations. So, obviously after, the fermentation is going to be different on that size scale as well. So getting through those first batches, being able to taste the results, and but we were able to dial things in pretty quickly, where we were happy from the start with what we were making.
When I mentioned that we're recording this, we're recording it behind the scenes. It's September. So your first batch you were brewing in September. You opened right around Christmas of 2011, right? Share what that's like on opening day, because we talk to people, we don't really always get that feeling of, okay, we've brewed these beers, it's time to unlock the doors. What was going through your mind, Bruce?
So our journey, we had started, we built everything out. We were ready to go. The brewery was ready behind the scenes.
Okay.
So I won't go deep, but when we started, not so long, only now 14 years, but you couldn't have a brew pub like we have today. You couldn't have a tap room.
Right.
So it was production brewery or brew pub. And production brewery, you couldn't sample, you couldn't sell on premise. Okay. So that's how we were kind of going into it, knowing we wanted to have a tap room. Yeah. Those laws were months out. It ended up being after we opened. Oh, okay. So we did a lot of movement around our licensing to make it happen the way I built it out, as I was told was going to be happening in Illinois. Anyway, so yeah, we approached it. The village was very good at saying, and they didn't know what to expect, because they'd never really had a public facing. They'd never had a brewery. Okay. So they were happy to have a brewery, but didn't know anything about, there's no license on the books. They didn't know how to manage it. Yeah. So, it was really the public space that was the issue, but the way we separated it, I wanted to have windows looking into the brewery. Oh. So we were able to have the brewery up and running and firing. And, so they're like, well, if you're just doing production back here, you're not selling to the public. So they let us start brewing in September. So I always think of this day as our anniversary personally. Yeah. So then, it's September. So we went through months and months of continuing to work on the public space, and going through, changes and inspections and failing inspections and so forth. Our first beers went into distribution at Thanksgiving. Oh, okay. So, and that was 2011. So then we were pushing to get the pub open. We were ready every day. We thought we'd be open by Thanksgiving. So then it got to the point where, okay, now there's one little thing after another. And we had an inspection on the 23rd. Okay. And we passed. So we were prepared, and we'd been prepared. So we're like, let's just open. So we went for it, did it. I think we probably closed for a few days, but it was crazy and fun. Yeah. So, and we still do our anniversary party. We recognize it on that day. Okay. It was being 2 days before Christmas. Yeah. Most people are off, not working the next day. And that was when it happened. So that's what we recognize. So you said Mundelein didn't have a brewery at that point. They weren't used to it. What was the customer base like at that point?
because in 2011, people were getting used to craft beers and they were getting used to breweries. They were getting into them. What was the interest level here in Mundelein?
We had great support from the local community really from the start, and like Bruce was mentioning, we were kind of getting delayed one thing after the next. We had people showing up at the tap room like every week before we open.
Are you open yet?
Just waiting for us to open. So right from the start, we've had great support, and some of the people. One of the guys, his first kind walked through the doors, sitting out at the bar right now.
Nice.
It's we've had the same people coming since we've been here, and then there's obviously more people getting turned on to it as over time, but we've had great support from the beginning, but it, not necessarily like beer geek people. We'd have people come visit. We were doing a lot of tours back then too, like every weekend we were doing
Groupon.
We started doing group
Groupon
stuff.
Yeah.
Groupon.
So
to get people in.
Yeah, we got a lot of people
crazy.
just to come visit through that avenue, and it's I think it helps to have them here in front of Bruce and I. Bruce and I would be the ones doing the tour.
Yeah.
To actually have the people come and see us, talking, basically, telling the story.
Yeah.
To them, in person, I think makes a big impact on the customer.
I agree. So what's the difference, or how do you feel? You were in the home brewing and you're the home brewers club, and so other people are tasting your beer, but now you're opening yourselves up to the general public. It's got to be a combination of exciting, proud, and terrified. Would that be accurate?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would think so.
Yeah, certainly. For me though, is even as a home brewer, one of my favorite things about brewing beer has always been sharing it with other people. So I've just was happy to be sharing it with people, and there's always going to be some criticism for the most part. People love us, love the beers, and it's just been a good experience to share it with everyone, and share experiences with all these people.
Before we take our break, Bruce, you had mentioned before, you alluded to, that you had raspberries that you grew at your house, and you can't. So you were passionate, I read, about canning and gardening and all that before you started brewing.
Yeah.
How do those passions help the brewing passion? Or do they?
I think it all just kind of ties in.
Yeah.
I think it's more just the nature of wanting to craft something, wanting to make it yourself and make it as good as you can.
Okay.
To understand the science. I'm into sourdough breads. I like, I do too many hobbies. It probably pulls me away from here, but that's, this is a hobby that made it
I was going to say, this is a pretty good hobby.
Yeah. But I do have too many hobbies. I got this tagline that I love to this day is, better living through fermentation. So, whatever you can ferment, we're good.
Perfect.
So
we're going to take a break, and when we come back, it's Brewer's Choice, where you guys are going to showcase a few of the Tighthead beers that you want people to know about. We still have to talk about Boxcar, which is one of the beers that you guys are known for. We're going to talk about pub culture and the beer engine, and we got a lot to get to.
Yeah.
We are here, Bruce Dir and Billy Oakes. They are the men behind Tighthead Brewing Company here in Mundelein, Illinois. We'll be back with more on Crafty Brewers after this. And we're back at Tighthead Brewing Company, 161 North Archer Avenue in Mundelein, Illinois. Tightheadbrewing.com is the website to get all the information. Make sure you visit. And if you take the Metra and get off at the Mundelein stop, you're right across the parking lot. Before we get to the beers, and I've got to welcome back Bruce Dir. He is the owner and one of the original brewers at Tighthead, and the brewmeister, the man, Billy Oakes, is here. He is also the brewer. I told you I saw this story online, and I want to get to, it's funny, I mentioned the Metra. There was a story about how you had some loyal customers, which you've already talked about, your loyal customers, which are great over the last 14 years. Mm-hmm. But there were some that rode the train, and they could not wait to get some Tighthead beer. So what would happen as they were approaching this station?
So it was usually certain nights that, and we knew they were coming. They would call ahead. Our bartenders would fill growlers, have them on the bar, and they would run over with cash in between the stops. And, you know, like I said, sometimes the conductor would hold it an extra 15 seconds if they were running late, but it's pretty funny.
And so that's hilarious.
It's a great story.
It is a great story. And there's culture on the train, there's culture in the pubs, which we're going to get to, but it's Brewer's choice. So you guys have brought out a number of different things for us to sample. Some we talked about. One I really wanted to talk to you about is your Boxcar Porter, because it's one of the original core beers, one of the things that you guys are known for. I love dark. I love that. Porters you tend to confuse some people. Explain the style of porter, and then why do you think Boxcar is such a hit here? But first, what sets a porter apart from like a stout and other beers that look, this is the Boxcar Porter. Looks like a stout, looks like a dark beer. What makes a porter a porter?
From a brewer's perspective, one I guess kind of rule is porter does not use roasted barley, where a stout does use roasted barley.
Okay.
So just
how does that change?
Just the flavor differences that you get. That roasted barley tends to have drier, burnt notes. I think they both share similar, like you can get coffee and chocolatey kind of notes from it. But I think for me, porter leans more on that sweeter chocolatey
okay,
side, where stouts get more into like the coffee roasted malt territory. But again, not that you can't have both of those flavors or any of those flavors in both styles. It's depending on what the brewer likes. But for me, an ideal porter just has real nice, smooth, chocolatey, like kind of a sweet chocolatey note, supported by some like caramel and toasty bread.
One thing I'm not getting from your porter that I get from some, which makes me shy away from porters. There's some porters have a bitterness at the end. Yours does not have that bitterness. What could cause bitterness in a porter?
Well, one thing could be overhopping, but there's certain black malts that, there's a pretty wide variety of black malts, and depending how they're roasted or, I guess in not even roasted, brewed, but the way that they're kilned, you get different levels of those burnt. Like some just come up as just
cannon-like.
Some of them come off as just straight off charcoal burnt tasting.
That's what.
And if you use too much of that, you're
okay.
It's finding that well balanced recipe,
exactly,
which can be a lot of trial and error, which maybe it takes time to kind of dial that in, maybe for a brewer.
That to me is always what's amazing about people who brew beer is here's what a porter is. Here's what the recipe is for this style. But every brewery you go to, like I was talking about your Martzen, which is your Oktoberfest beer. This is no secret. This is my time of year. We talk about it all the time. I love this Oktoberfest. It's fantastic. But even among Oktoberfest and among porters and among everything else I've tried, there's these subtle differences, which I think is why we try to talk to you guys, because there is an artistry to fine-tuning those little things that a lot of people, when we drink beer, we're like, yeah, this is good. And we don't think about what goes on back here to take those little, a little tweak that makes a beer go from, oh, this is pretty good, to, I got to get some more of this beer right now.
I think I'll talk to it, and we've mentioned it already. I think balance.
Yeah.
It's recipe balance, and it's how you balance that with the system. Billy knows our system because he's brewed on it from day one. So he knows hop levels, grain levels. He knows how the system produces.
Okay.
And ultimately, I think in any recipe, it's balance. We talked about, some IPAs just being so bitter, or there's a harshness. Well, again, it's because you haven't balanced that with the malt and the sugar. So I think that's one of the pieces. I don't know what, your thoughts on it. But I think all of our beers are pretty well balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah. One, we've kind of mentioned, we both enjoy beers, a lot of different beer styles, and as homebrewers, we've experimented with a lot of different styles, and I think just every beer that we produce, Bruce kind of mentioned we like to brew the beers that we like to drink, and so every beer that we're brewing, we're kind of looking at it like looking at the style and like, how do I want my version of this style to come across, and we're both pretty well trained brewers. We've both been to school, and also we've had great brewing staff working with us over the years that, all of us kind of collect bits of knowledge about different, even just listening to podcasts like this and learning from other brewers, picking up bits of information here and there, and just to kind of learn more about how you can tweak your process to get exactly what you want to produce.
Have you come or found on certain styles that line between, okay, yes, this is the recipe, the style, this is where we think we can go? Have you ever hit a wall where you're like, oh yeah, we could tweak it this much, but this tiny bit more, things are just like, oh wait, no, we went too far, we got to come back more toward the traditional recipe?
Yeah, I told Billy no fruity pebbles. That's all I said. So, no,
how disappointed were you in that?
I've never been into weird fruity beers anyway. So,
no, I don't know. I probably messed up the question, but you can probably.
No, let's move on to one that a collaboration. A lot of breweries do collaborations. You guys collaborate with other breweries. Not a lot of breweries collaborate with former professional football players. And so you have released Longsnapper with, I'll let you tell us who, and describe Longsnapper and how it came to be for us.
All right. Well, we'll start with, I guess, the relationship. Patrick Mannelly, who is the longest tenured Chicago Bear football player.
Yes.
Kind of the first person to make long snapping an art.
You never heard about
football?
long snappers until Patrick Mannelly.
No, you didn't. And there weren't specific positions, for long snap.
Yeah.
So he was very good at what he did.
Yes.
He's a friend of the brewery. He lived locally here in Green Oaks for a while. He's since moved, but and he golfs a lot. So if you don't know, Patrick's a big golfer.
Okay.
He does 360 golf as well. So he used to come in, he golfed at Ivanhoe a lot. So he'd come in and was kind of a regular here. So we sat down and talked, and he's like, he's got a podcast, or not a podcast. He's got a website.
Oh, okay.
He trains high school, college students.
Oh,
he also has the Long Snapper of the Year for the NCAA, an award that he does with Bernie's Book Bank in Lake Forest, and trying to get that as a position award in the NCAA.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, because there aren't a lot of specialty awards given at that level. So he's done this. We're in the 6th year now.
Okay.
But back before that happened, he's sitting at the bar. He drinks beer. He likes to drink beer. And he's like, I do this podcast. I'm training kids all over the country. And he's like, I go to bars that, I'm sitting after golfing. He's like, I just want to say, give me a long snapper. He's like, it's a great beer name. And I was like, well, why don't we do it? So he's like, really? So we sat down, Billy, he and I sat down, and my artist, and we just talked through everything he does. We knew he liked our Bear's Choice. He drank a lot of that.
Okay.
When he wasn't drinking that, he was drinking, I think he had said Anti-Hero or some sort of West Coast style IPA.
Okay.
So we sat and designed basically a really easy drinking West Coast style.
Yeah.
And then the rest is kind of history. So, The can itself, if you can see it, but
Which one?
he's a golfer. He also owns a he drives that
El
car.
Camino?
And the El Camino. Yeah, that he had customized for him. It's an old El Camino.
Well, like Bruce mentioned, it's kind of an easy drinking West Coast leaning style IPA. So pretty fairly light bodied. He likes to when he posts it on social media, #crushable.
Crushable is always good.
So we wanted to make it very drinkable.
It actually says
the definition of
It
crushable.
says it on the keg on the label.
It's crushable.
In the back of the El Camino, it says crushable on it.
Crushable.
And they serve this at Soldier Field, and if your beer you're drinking it at a football game, you want it to be easy drinking and something that you can keep drinking. So we wanted it to be fairly light bodied and easy to drink. Several, but we used we were at the time we were cryo hops were kind of a new thing, like the concentrated hop format was fairly new, and we were kind of playing around with that and some of the new beers that we were creating. So this one is pretty heavy on the dry hop, even though we try to keep it drinkable, but went real heavy with the dry hop and cryo hops in the dry hop. But it's very traditional Cascade Centennial hops.
Okay.
Kind of like trying to go for, I guess now they call them throwback IPAs.
Oh, really? Okay.
But
How things have changed.
but kind of like a traditional, American hop flavors in a very drinkable IPA format.
I have questions. No, they're good questions.
Who cut your hair?
This beer's great. I really love it.
That is not a question. That's a statement.
I don't like West Coast IPAs. I really don't. There's some flavor that is coming through loud and clear, and I feel like
Citrus?
It feels like there's one hop, and like I always get my hops mixed up, right? But that one hop that you just mentioned, would you say that is like what really like propels the flavor of this beer?
Well, it's two hops, Cascade and Centennial are the two, and they both have kind of like the traditional grapefruit, citrus kind of hop character.
That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, you get a lot of that.
Because it's so like it comes through so cleanly. Like I'm kind of like I am tasting those two hops like in perfect combination, and it's just the rest, everything around it is smooth and clean, and it is crushable. I will totally agree with that.
It's like the first time you picked up a Sierra Nevada. Or something like that.
It's just like I just needed to remark that again. I don't like West Coast IPAs, but this has a clean. I would drink a lot of this. I'm halfway done with mine, honestly. So
there you go.
Good.
Very nice.
That's what we're hoping for.
Yes, you do get that grapefruit.
That's the plan. Yeah.
The grapefruit citrus comes through a lot.
Yeah.
So it's those two hops are the ones that impart that. If people taste a beer and they don't know what it is, and they're getting that, boy, it tastes. There's real citrus. It comes from Cascade and
Centennial.
Okay,
Was
perfect.
the other, they both.
Most of the Northwest grown hops kind of have that profile.
Okay,
That's why the West Coast IPA, that's where they were getting a lot of the hops when they were the original IPAs came from that.
Okay.
Yep.
But again, you've mentioned it many times, the balance where you go, oh yeah, I can taste the hops, but I'm not. They're not punching me in the face and making me go, So tell Patrick, good job. Good job, you guys all working together. It is.
No, he's great. He's,
Yeah, it's been a lot of
fun to work with.
him.
So.
He's a great guy.
He loves being part of it. We love having him. So I did do Irie. I did pour Irie. Okay. That's the other full one. If you just want to sip it.
Yes.
Irie's a big IPA. So about 7.8%. And if you were to look at IBUs and the people who are technically wanting IBUs, it's about 134, I think it used to calculate to. So it's pretty. And we used to get called out. Yeah, we'd get called out at Beer Fest early on, and all the beer geeks, and because we were home brewers too, it's like 134 IBUs, that's huge. And it's like you can't detect them over 100 supposedly. So we put 100 plus on the label.
Okay.
But you don't get that. You're not. It's not like you're chewing on grapefruit rinds. It's balanced.
It's different. Yes. Now this
again
pure
going back to
original recipe,
balance.
Right? It is. It's all back to balance. This also West Coast IPA, correct?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
what changes from Longsnapper, which you guys and Patrick have defined as crushable, to a higher alcohol content and a higher IBU in theoretically the same style, a West Coast IPA?
Sure.
Well, we use just enough of a light caramel malt to add sweetness. That's actually one of the ways I used to describe my IPAs was I was trying to achieve a hop candy like flavor. So like just enough sweetness to play with those fruity hop notes to kind of create like almost like a candy like experience. So there's just a little bit of caramel malt to provide sweetness to kind of balance out the bitterness, but also with this being different than Longsnapper with the higher alcohol, it does have more malt, but not much more malt. We actually use raw cane sugar in the fermentation of Irie to boost the alcohol, but that sugar completely ferments out, so it leaves no residual sugar.
Okay.
Just more alcohol, which the alcohol itself almost lends a sweetness. It definitely adds a flavor characteristic that plays with like that hop candy characteristic that I'm going for.
Did you try this one, Cody?
I have so many thoughts.
Sure, at least
But
one.
for 7.8, it's pretty big. I mean, it's pretty smooth.
Yeah, it is. It's very.
So Brian used to plant his flag in the like, I don't do sours. And then a couple breweries kind of changed his, mind about that. And some have really impressed.
Right. It's a matter of balance. It's a matter of trying different ones. And there are differences between IPAs and sours and like we've talked about.
And similarly, I've said it on this podcast 100 times, I don't really like IPAs. I don't really like hoppy beers. Maybe I just haven't had the right ones because that and this I would buy. I'm going to buy before I leave here.
Yeah.
I don't know if your registers are still open, but like I'm going home with some of this.
We'll
This
give
is
you some. We'll give you some low fills maybe.
This is incredible. I get that sweetness. Like it's not like a syrupy, sugary sweetness like you get with like a lot of like barrel-aged stouts, which I love. That's my jam. But it's not a juicy sweetness. It is that candy sweetness that you talk about. Like I'm having like a lollipop kind of at the end. And just congrats on this. Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our podcast is not about like reviewing beers or
No.
whatever, but like I have been struck by the last two that I've had. And I just want to make that clear to our listeners that like, damn, come check out Tighthead
thanks.
Brewing.
And we're not getting we're not paid endorsers. We're just
No.
we're just guys who drink beer and go, oh, which is I think why both of us and I'm sure you have a lot of people who sit at the bar and go, I've never had a beer like this. And that leads me to the whole pub culture aspect of Tighthead that you want to do. And I will preface this by saying I came in and I asked your bartender, who I later found out his name is Travis. I asked Travis for a flight. And I gave him I wanted to try the red. I got the Oktoberfest, and I got your honey ale Five Eyes.
Yep.
The honey ale. All were great. And then the fourth one, I couldn't decide. I said, why don't you pick the fourth one for me? So he came over and he had chili water, which is
An American Pale Ale.
an American Pale Ale. So I had the 4 on the flight, but then there was a fifth. And he said, ooh, this is chili ale, and it's on the beer engine. Have you ever heard of a beer engine? I said, no. I will let you explain what a beer engine is. And he talked about that's very big in English pubs. Now, I've spent time, thankfully, in England, and I've gone to many pubs, and I enjoyed myself. And my friends, before I went, said, always drink the cask beers. For people who hear English pub and pub culture, Bruce, what does pub culture mean to you, and how did you try to imbue that into Tighthead?
So I was kind of enamored by pub culture. I like beer history and beer culture. I read about it and stuff. So had a chance to go to London a few times, almost moved there with my wife and her job before the brewery.
Okay.
And I just like that as a home brewer. I had a cask at home where I had a hand pull or a beer engine, which is a gravity-fed beer engine.
Yeah, so that's what
a hand pump, basically.
If people see the tall handle and then the neck.
Yeah. So basically, in London pubs, the pub was a place where you went to get the news of the day. You met with friends, family, and then you went home and had dinner. So you'd come home from work, and that's kind of where the gathering place was.
Yeah.
So the living room, if you will, of your town.
Yeah.
So, and I always loved that concept, and that's what we always wanted to bring here. It's, in the business plan, it's in my thoughts, and I don't know how we did it. We have captured it. But it's just that whole thing. But so a pub basically has a beer that is conditioned. They're brewing it on premise, but it's conditioned in the basement.
Okay.
Or it's continuing to be conditioned, and they're pulling off the tanks in these pubs. And it's gravity fed. So they're pulling out of the cellar.
Okay.
So cellar temp, it's usually warmer.
Right.
But and they're pulling it out of these hand pumps, which are gravity fed. So I'll let Billy talk to like cask conditioning.
Yeah, because
it's a whole different thing.
Travis had said when he brought them over, he said, these are the same beer, but they're going to taste completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And they did, Billy. They tasted like two different beers. So why?
Basically, the main difference comes down to the way it achieves its carbonation.
Okay.
It's a natural fermentation created carbonation versus most of our, like the draft beer, just gets force carbonated carbon dioxide pushed in through the tank to carbonate the whole batch. But with a cask, we transfer uncarbonated finished beer, but just not carbonated. Traditionally, as Bruce was kind of going to like the traditional cask conditioning, where they would actually fill the firkins, or what they called the vessel, the keg. They would fill the firkins while the beer was still finishing the fermentation, wasn't even completely done fermenting.
Oh, wow, okay.
And seal it up. And so the carbonation that was produced at that tail end of the fermentation in the cask is what would carbonate the product. So we ferment ours out completely, but then just add sugar and yeast in the cask to achieve a natural carbonation. Okay. So it's, 1 10-gallon keg that just gets carbonated individually. And it's also a lower level of carbonation we're shooting for. So
that was the biggest thing. The temperature was one, because it's a little warmer than the coming out of the tap handle. Mm-hmm. But the carbonation, because, and I know this is not the right terminology, but it's the way it seemed a little flat, and I was like, that was the biggest thing, but there were also flavor differences, but the difference in carbonation, and I like I said, I've been over in English and Irish pubs, so it's all because of you're not pumping that CO2 into the keg.
It's a tighter bubble as well. It's being reabsorbed into the beer.
Yeah.
So it creates a tighter bubble than infusing it with CO2, which is opening it up and having more of that effervescent. Almost to the point, I know you mentioned earlier nitro beers, which we don't do, which is even a tighter bubble. So it creates more of a creaminess. It's a mouthfeel, I think, more than anything. But it's just a different carbonate. It's being carbonated naturally versus carbonated, through pure CO2.
So if you have a chance, folks, try to go to a country that has a strong pub culture, because it is. Mm-hmm. It is different. Well, I went into pubs knowing no one, and my wife and I left having had long conversations with people and having the best nights of our lives as we were visiting these places, just because that's what people do.
Yeah.
They sit there, they have a drink, they have a couple pints, and they talk. And it's so much fun.
Yeah.
On the topic of pub culture, to tie it back to your rugby origins,
here we go.
Bruce, Do you know any rugby drinking songs? And have you introduced them to your clientele here?
And will you?
I know many. Quite. I went to a small school, Luther College, Decorah, Iowa. Shout
out.
And we had a great rugby club. So we got there in the Midwest my senior year. So we had fun. We used to just say, because in those days it was all about the rugby party.
Yes, it was.
Not shouting out any state schools, but they were a little crazy.
I went to Southern.
I went to Luther College. We had a little more. We had some ethics. I'll just say we sang hard and we drank hard. So
all right.
But I do know a few. And actually, early on, we had. There were a couple women rugby players at the time, and they made me get up on the bar and sing a song after a tour. So I did get on the bar and sing a rugby song.
Do you remember any of that song?
It's Biddy McGraw. Oh God. Let me tell you a tale that'll leave you in shock about two sailors on a ringside dock. The maiden in question was Biddy McGraw. She strangled two sailors with the straps of her bra with a two-rai-ai, fi-diddly-ai, two-rai-u-rai-u-rai-ai. I'm not going any further because rugby songs get,
It's saucy. It's spicy.
That was fantastic.
There you go. Thank you. I haven't sang a rugby song in a long time, and I support rugby clubs. I support rugby clubs in Lake County, and they sing a little bit, but the lyrics have gotten a little more raunchy, so
That's all right.
But it is a very it's a pub tradition. So rugby is you go out and beat the hell out of each other, and you go to the party afterwards and you feed them and you give them beer and you sing songs.
There you go.
It's a very English cultural thing. So
it's a wonderful thing. As kind of the culture, we'll expand the culture to beer festivals, which are. You can't swing an empty pint without hitting a beer festival. You were instrumental in bringing about the Mundelein Craft Beer Festival, which has been known as the Brewers Beer Festival. And it just celebrated its 12th anniversary, correct?
I think, was it 13th or 12th? Oh, we had 20. We didn't have one.
Oh, okay.
And we started in 11, 12. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was the
13th. It's been going for a while.
It's been going for a while.
It's been going for a while.
Yeah.
So another two-part question for both of you. As a brewer, because, as I said, Mundelein Craft Brew Festival is known as the Brewers Beer Fest. As a brewer, what makes a good festival? And I know you've both been to Brewfest as a consumer. What makes a good beer festival for a consumer, in your opinion? And first, we'll go with the brewer. What makes it good? What makes it good for Tighthead to be involved not only in the Mundelein Fest, but as you said, Fobab, and we've seen you guys at Bug, and I've seen you at a number of festivals.
Yeah, I don't know. It's for a brewery our size. That's it's free marketing. It's marketing, so it's getting in front of people. You want people to have your beer and say, "Oh, I really like that."
Right.
And hopefully you're in the market and, or you're at Binny's or somewhere. So when they do have it and they go and look for it, they can find it.
Right.
That's, we try to pick, festivals and go out and do communities where we are, distributing beer. So that always helps. Yeah. I mean, that's festivals as far as a brewer.
It helps to be able to make a connection to it's kind of like I mentioned with someone coming to your brewery and doing the tour and talking to the brewer, the brewer or the owner. Yeah. For Bruce and I to go to a festival and be able to talk face to face with a consumer about our beers and kind of, again, have a chance to tell a little bit of our story, or just, I think a lot of consumers, when they go to a beer festival, if you actually are going to talk to a brewer at the table, like that's different. A lot of beer fests you're just talking to almost either a representative from the brewery or even just a distributor that's serving a product that they sell, or even a volunteer from the festival. So for us to be able to talk to the consumer in person about our beers, I think can make a much bigger impact than just them maybe tasting it, and just I don't know. It's just makes more impact.
And
to
it is
make a
always fun
connection
to
with
actually
the
meet the
person.
brewers.
And I had been going to them at the time.
Okay.
And I enjoyed them as a beer consumer. So, and I judged. So I'd go to judging / competitions and festivals. And it was always good to have them. So when we started at Mundelein, that's what I wanted.
Okay.
That's like, I want to have brewers here. We need to treat them well,
Right.
feed them, whatever they need, bring them in so they're here. Because I didn't like not being able to talk to them.
Yeah.
So.
How much High Life do you have on hand?
Not much here, unless you consider
the festival.
unless you consider the might as well. Of course, well, you always toss that into the rink.
That's
but,
it. We're getting ready to. The other beer you brought, which we've already talked about, is your the Irish Red, Scarlet Eyes, Scarlet Fire. Sorry, Scarlet Fire. The Irish Red. It's fantastic. I'm gonna. Yes.
Yeah, I got some of it.
It is very good.
My favorite part of this show is when we go to a brewery that I'm maybe not that familiar with, and I'm just like, holy shit. Like, these beers are fucking good.
And my question is always, it's like, why don't you know about us then? I'm not doing the right thing.
No. We know, we know about you. Unfortunately, no. Here's the thing. There's a lot of really good breweries that are geographically undesirable.
Oh yeah, no, I get that.
Because it's like,
for sure.
All right, yes, I want to go to one of the many events that Tighthead has throughout the year. I want to go there. I want to sit and enjoy and imbibe all night. Oh wait, I got an hour drive home.
I know.
Something. All right. I got
Understood. All right.
But no, that's why we like. As I said,
that's why I like having you guys come up
at the festivals. At Bug or at any of the other festivals where we've had your stuff too. That's how we know about it.
No, I know.
But I don't do this for every brewery. Like, I really don't. And
he doesn't. Go
well,
back.
Thank you. I appreciate
I'm dead
that.
serious. The second I
We
sip this,
appreciate
it's just every beer you've served has been like I want to drink more of this kind of beer. Like, I want to have this in my fridge. I want to be able to just bust it open, and I will talk to my wife and make sure that we come to some events here. Like, these are good beers. And I just did what you did, Brian. Didn't describe the red at all.
No, you didn't describe the red at all.
It's just really good, but it is also crushable and just surprising. Like, I like red ales. I did not expect these flavors.
Really, if you paid attention throughout the episode, you would have known that we talked about.
I have cameras. I'm taking pictures.
We talked about what makes a good Irish Red, why the Irish Red won an award. We talked about it all.
I have many cameras. I actually went to the bathroom at one place and it just took a duck face selfie.
I noticed
now
you drove down to Culver's, got yourself a Butterburger, and came back.
Those parts were maybe unnecessary, but fair to the rest.
It seemed excessive.
Goes good with the red.
Before we go to the Final Four, you mentioned Might As Well, which is going to be right up Cody's alley. You've recently added hemp-infused sparkling water.
Why do you always say that I'm going to start?
Because you are the Cheech to my Chong.
I am not.
You are the Chong to my Cheech. You are a weed monster.
I have 2 kids. I don't get high as often.
Your children drive you home, and they're 4 and 2.
5 and 2.
5 and 2.
And a half.
All right. Well, listen, I don't.
And she's a great driver.
She is a really good driver.
Yeah.
I don't like.
Video games are good these years.
Yeah.
They're great.
Oh, she's unbelievable. She's a Grand Theft Auto master. The only problem is he has to put 24-inch blocks on the pedals so she can use them. But that's another show altogether. We do that show later. All right. Obviously, these are very popular among younger drinkers, I would say, because it's changed the landscape of how things are consumed.
Yeah.
What drove your decision, and what's the difference, Billy? What drove the decision, Bruce?
Mm-hmm.
And what is the difference, Billy, in how you create these THC-infused sparkling waters?
So what drove it is basically with the current landscape of craft beer.
Mm-hmm.
In general, young kids aren't drinking, so craft's down. I mean, big brewing is down, so that's not a surprise to anyone. We all know that. So trying to find other options. There was an opening. Illinois is working on laws.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the guild board for a while.
Okay.
And we did do some lobbying, trying to get some laws passed. We've started making them because there is a gray piece with the hemp legislation, being per the 18 hemp laws. So the derived cannabis is in play until it gets regulated. So, and it will be regulated. What small producers want is to be able to continue to produce them. Yeah. Because we have in this void until legislation comes around, we can actually put regulation around it and make it sustainable, really. So that's where we started, and we figured with the state of the industry, it gives us an opportunity.
Yeah.
To make some money.
How have they been received?
Not bad. Okay. So we don't sell them too much in the market yet. Okay. So distributors really haven't been taking them on. There are some that do, some won't. Okay. We're still working kind of through that. We've self-distributed a little bit in certain markets, but it's mostly through the tap room that we're selling them. And at this point, and it's been well received in the tap room. We don't sell them on draft. Okay. So we don't sell them here. We don't allow them to drink them here.
News for Cody.
We do package, and you can take them away. There are restaurants and bars that have begun to do that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But our staff prefers not to at the time, so I respect that. And we'll sell them. We'll sell them as package until then. So
we've interviewed a couple other breweries that do the same thing. Yeah. It's like, we sell them. You could come in and buy a 4-pack of them, take them, but for a number of different reasons, and all very good reasons, they decided we're not going to put them on tap.
Yeah. At some point, they need to figure out.
Yeah.
Give us a clear direction.
So, right.
But
Billy, when it comes to, are you brewing what's the term for how you're creating this beverage?
I don't know if if you would call it brewing or not, but
mixing.
It's kind of just mixing it up. We treat ours like at home. I just drink a lot of flavored like seltzer water.
Okay.
Like LaCroix or similar type of thing. Because I want something that doesn't have sugar and doesn't have alcohol. So that was, for me at home, that's kind of my go-to, is just drinking flavored seltzer water. Okay. So when we decided we wanted to do a hemp beverage, for a number of reasons, we wanted to not have sugar in the product, because for alcohol, for beer containing alcohol, we don't have a food safety issue. It's not going to make anyone sick, right? Because the alcohol will kill off any pathogen that could. But with these THC products, there's no alcohol, so there's nothing. You need to make sure that it's a food safe product. Yeah. And if there's sugar or anything fermentable that bacteria can feed on, then it's potentially could make people sick. So that was one of the big things. Like I wanted to make something that I wanted to drink, like we've talked about, but also the food safety aspect was a big part of how we approached our product and our recipe. Mm-hmm. But yeah, basically we're just we boil the water to start with, but then just mix. We chilled just regular boiled water into a fermenter, and while we're recirculating it with a pump, we dump in a flavoring. We do 2 flavors, yuzu and berry. But it's just like the same type of flavorings that you would have in like a seltzer water. Oh, okay. And then we get our emulsions for THC and CBD from Perfectly Dosed. They do a good job of creating, Perfectly Dosed, great emulsions and great service in helping formulate the recipes. Okay. And kind of help get a little bit idea of process, but definitely helped a lot with our recipes. And basically you just recirculate it in a tank for a couple hours to get everything thoroughly mixed together. But the emulsions are such fine particles that once they're mixed in, they don't settle out.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to shake the can or swirl it.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about
Comes through.
the active ingredients settling out to the bottom of your can. So
Perfect.
anyway, recirculate for a couple hours and then chill it and carbonate it, and you can have it packaged in the same day. You know,
okay. So
you
it's
could do it all. You do it all in one day.
quicker process.
It's a very quick process.
Very nice. All right, it is time for the final four, gentlemen. We ask these same four questions of all of our guests. Feel free to both answer. If only one of you wants to answer, that's fine too. Number one, the hill you will die on. A beer that maybe the public is clamoring for. Maybe it's a style that people are like, oh, why don't you make a blank? But for whatever reason, Tighthead will not put this beer out.
I may have hinted earlier. I'm not sure. The Fruity Pebbles, maybe?
Those cereal-based beers?
I don't know.
Sours.
Okay. That is a first. That is a first in all the times we've asked this question. What is it about sours? You just...
I'm a fan of traditional barrel-aged Belgian-style sours that I am not going to try to go through that process here in my brewery. And, not that other people aren't doing more, good tradition or more newer styles of sour, but for me, it's if I'm going to do it myself, I'm going to do it the traditional way, and I'm not ready to put that effort in there.
So no sours.
And we make clean beers and sour beers.
Wait, what about Cocoa Pebbles?
Cody, I'm glad you asked this because Bruce seems to have an unhealthy fixation against or Fruity Pebbles.
I do.
So I don't know.
I'm sorry. I don't like the
Fruit Loops guy?
No, I'm kind of I'm a Crunchberry guy, really.
Oh, all right.
So,
Crunchberry.
Do you have anything against John Cena? Is that why?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
All right.
I kind of like him. Yeah, I'm not a wrestling fan, but he's a great actor.
Don't say that to Cody. Watching this season of Peacemaker? It's really good.
I haven't yet.
It's
No,
really good. Check it out.
I don't know.
Eagerly attacks people. It's crazy. All right, back to the final four. Number two, a beer that you guys have brewed here at Tighthead. It might have been wildly successful. It might have been not so successful. But for whatever reason, you're not going to do it again.
I think I'd go with a beer that probably Midnight Shadow. It was a beer that we were trying to do as like a black IPA when they were just coming out or popular, and we had a horrible mash, and I don't know if you might know more specifically, but it was a nightmare night. It was like a stuck mash.
We were trying to make a big black IPA, and it stuck the mash
for 14 hours brew day.
Yeah, it ended up being like a 12-hour brew day, and but it was a lot higher extract than we were expecting to get out of it. So
okay, what does that mean?
Like it ended up being a much stronger beer than we were expecting.
Huge.
I think ended up being like 10%.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we probably won't make that again.
And then it was supposed to be an IPA, so like, all these hops. So we called it like it was an Imperial Black IPA Pale Ale or something. We tried to make it fun because we didn't know what to call it. So we called it Midnight Shadow, but people ask about it. So the thing about it is, people still want it. People still want it. Can you bring it back? But we could probably never do it again because you can't replicate. And it's really the only, and I use that as an example for when ask beers that you've ever dumped.
Yeah.
We've never dumped a beer.
Okay.
But that's the one beer that we just didn't know how it really happened, it was very confusing.
All right.
Well, sometimes there's a style that you might really like yourself as a brewer, but not going to sell at your tap room or in the market. So that's one. Even
That's frustrating.
Black IPAs just never really caught on in the market. So as much as I would like to maybe brew another one, we probably won't.
I like to call them porters. I'm a traditionalist. Sorry.
Oh my! Here we.
I know. I'm a style guy,
this is
man.
the point of the show where the guests.
Don't get me started on session IPAs,
Cody. This is what I live for. When the guests
fight
turn
you
on
guys.
each other. Oh, listen. Cody's all about the figure four leg lock and the what was that? The naked rear choke.
I prefer the sharpshooter, actually.
All right.
But
Just so you know, listen, we know you played
Scary.
rugby, Bruce, but
Really
we've been around. We've been around. We've done some things. Question number 3: your go-to off-the-clock beer. It could be one of your own here at Tighthead. It could be something else. Bruce, we'll go to you first.
I really drink very little beer that isn't Tighthead, and Tighthead.
There's nothing wrong with that. You make it.
Yeah,
Which is the one you go to?
I used to get this question asked on tours, and it's like, what do you drink when you get home?
Yeah.
And it's like, I drink red wine usually. So
There you go.
it's not good for a brewer to say that, but no, I'm an Irie guy.
Okay.
Irie all day long.
Very nice.
So I like hoppy beers. I like
My go-to
Rastafari.
after shift beer is our Tres Izquierdas. It's a Mexican lager that,
I love Mexican lagers.
yeah, very,
It's a good one.
very drinkable, crushable.
Crushable. That's
Goes
the deal.
goes down good at the end of a long day.
And our final question: your favorite food and beer pairing. Could be like you love Irie when you're at home. What
I
does
know.
it pair well?
That's always my favorite thing is Irie and blue cheese.
Really?
Really good blue cheese. It just cuts, that bitterness cuts through the blue cheese. That's my favorite pairing.
That sounds really good.
Yeah.
I got in trouble in first grade because I
Maytag,
used to bring blue
good-
cheese
good
to
stuff.
school, and the teacher hated it. Told my mom.
Yeah,
Smelled.
I was also going to say cheese.
Okay, what
Cheese and beer. I mean, if I had to pick one specific pairing, for me, it's like a very good aged cheddar
Okay.
with a strong IPA,
Okay.
like Irie, with a
Very nice.
like a crystally cheddar. Yeah, I was fortunate to do a beer and cheese pairing with Garrett Oliver at the Map Room in Chicago
Really?
years ago, and changed like the pairings that he presented us. Just totally changed my view, and like ever since that, it's been my go-to. Like I love cheese and beer.
You know what? I love cheese and beer too. It's nice to hear you guys say that.
Mhm.
And all right, now I gotta get. All right, listen. I got
It
things.
doesn't always have to be wine
Talk
and
amongst yourselves. I got things happening.
the camera memory card only has 8 minutes left in it.
Then let me
Yeah.
say this. Before we do our final toast, I want to thank you for joining us on this edition of Crafty Brewers Tales Behind Craft Beer. Please be sure to support your local brewery. As Bruce said, and we've told you before, without your support, it's rough going for some of your favorite small breweries. So you need to get in there. You need to drink their beer. You need to tip their staff. You need to support your local brewery, especially a place that is trying to build a pub culture, a culture for the community, a gathering spot. Support your local breweries. Crafty Brewers Tales Behind Craft Beer is produced by award-winning podcast producer Cody Goff. You can visit our website to browse our archive of more than 40 episodes and get in touch with us at craftybrewerspod.com. That's craftybrewerspod.com. We release a new episode every other Thursday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and every podcast app you can ever imagine. We do that first thing in the morning, or sometimes Cody's sleeping because he's worked all night getting this award-winning podcast edited, so it maybe comes out around noon. You're not on a tight timetable. Relax. Enjoy it when it comes out. You know it's coming out every other Thursday. You want to support the show? Why not? Just leave a comment on our YouTube video. Any comment will do. Cody, why is that? Why will any comment do? Not an off-color comment. That won't do. Something negative won't do. I got to change this copy. That doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know what to say to that.
All right, fine. Then I'll just keep going. Just leave us a comment. That'll be great. Thanks again to Bruce Dir of Tighthead Brewing and Billy Oakes, also of Tighthead Brewing. How coincidental is that we have two guests from the same brewery? Wow, that's weird. We never really do that. We like to bring in guests from opposing breweries and then have them cage fight before the show is over. I'm Brian Noonan. That brings us to our final toast. Gentlemen, what are we going to toast today? Let's start with Billy. Billy, what would you like to toast today?
World peace.
World peace. That's
Peace,
nice.
right on.
Bruce,
Damn it, he took my.
you took your answer?
Yeah.
How about world war?
Drink more craft beer.
We'll toast to that. Cody the G.
To finding, exploring and then discovering new breweries, because you'd be surprised how good the craft brewery near you could be.
And
on.
Especially if you live in Mundelein.
Cheers.
We should have left that. I'm going to toast to great experiences at new places. Irish Red, bring it. We love it. Cheers. Gentlemen.
Nice catch.
Cheers.
I think I got it.
I'm going to point out that Brian stole mine, but that's fine.
I stole you.
I mean,
went first.
Pretty much essentially, but you kind of copied.
You went before me.
Yeah, I know. You kind of copied it
I
a
didn't
little.
copy you.
It's a little bit copied. It's a little bit copied. Also, follow us on Instagram at Crafty Brewers Pod. It's a new account.
Oh, yeah, that's new. We have Instagram.
It's fine.
And TikTok.
Nice.
Places.
Well, everybody,
All right.